I recently came across a Facebook page known as 52 Weeks Savings Challenge. And as I was going through it, I was able to see some of the questions which were being raised by the members of the group. And so I'm just going to go straight to the point on what this person was asking. And then we are going to try to tackle and see how we are going to help this particular individual with regards to budgeting. Now, the question goes, I really need help. What would an ideal monthly budget for a 60,000 disposable income look like? Not the financial research hypothetical one that has worked for someone for some years, including savings, investment, loan. I earn more, but the rest is tied up in paying for my master's and some kind of black tax. So black tax is taken care of before this figure. Hello, my name is Salim Yasarawaza, your trusted financial advisor, and today we are going to look at how to budget for your salary, how to plan your finances, especially for those who are on payroll and those who live paycheck to paycheck. So this video is for you. Even if you are a business person, this video is going to help you to guide you on how you're supposed to plan and budget for your salary or for your income that you're receiving on a monthly basis. So I know this is not an isolated case, because most people, they have the problem of because you do not plan on how you're going to use your money. When that money comes, you end up squandering that money or using it in ways which is not helpful. And in the end, you end up in a disaster where you are broke and yet you are earning very good money. So I've also been reading in the newspapers and in some, maybe on Twitter, nowadays it's called X, and you see how people are complaining, or rather lamenting how they misused money and now they're in a financial turmoil. So let us look now, this being for instance an example that we're going to use, and then we're going to look how we are supposed to organize our finances. So this lady or this man, now that it's an anonymous participant, I'm not sure whether it's a male or a woman, but that doesn't matter. He or she claims she has disposable income of 60,000. That means the money that is remaining after tax, that is the amount that she has readily available to spend. Now, she says that she's looking for something practical on how to spend this money, not something hypothetical. We're just talking rumors, meaning she wants the calculations, she wants something practical, she wants how we can narrow this thing down and make it make sense to an adult. And also in terms of savings, investments, and loans. So we're just going to go straight. Let us go straight. So the person has a disposable income of 60,000. So disposable income is the same as 60,000 Kenyan shillings, right? And you've saved you've said that disposable income, this is the amount which is remaining after tax has been deducted. This is the amount which is readily available to be spent. Now, in order to help or advise this particular individual plus many others out there with the same issue, I'm going to echo the teachings of one person, one good friend of mine, and we're going to call this the money philosophy. Now, money philosophy basically is like a rule. It gives you a rule on how to budget. It's like a formula on how to budget for your finances. And it says that we are supposed to allocate our budget or our finances in the ratio of 50 to 30 to 20. 50 to 30 to 20. These are just percentages, and I'm going to explain each one of them in detail. Now, the 50% of our income, allow me to use the word at least. We are supposed to use at least or at most. That is confusing. We're supposed to use at most 50% of our income on needs. We're supposed to use at most 50% of our income on needs. I am going to explain in detail. The 30% is supposed to go for wants. 30% is supposed to go to wants. We are supposed to spend at most 30% of our income in wants. I'm also going to explain what do I mean when I say needs, what do I mean when I say wants. The other 20%, this 20%, in fact, we are supposed to start with 20%. The 20%, this is the amount you are supposed to pay yourself. This is the amount that's supposed to go for your savings. This is the amount that's supposed to go to your savings. Now, this 20%, the moment you receive your salary, first take the first 20% of that amount, of that income, take it and put it away. That is not your money. That is money for your future self. That is not money for you to spend right now. Okay? It is what forms part of your savings. Take it, put it aside. I hope I'm audible enough. Take this 20%, put it aside. This will form part of your savings. Now, this money, don't just go put it somewhere in a bank account where it's going to lie idle. So that's why we always say that this savings, the amount that you paid yourself, so pay yourself the 20%, this amount is the one that forms part of the savings, right? And instead of keeping it lying somewhere in a bank account, where are you supposed to keep it? You are supposed to keep it in a place where it's going to generate you more revenue. It's going to generate you more income. It's going to generate more interest, okay? And this interest is going to be a passive source of income for you. Now, so it is advisable that this amount, you keep them, you can use it, you can invest it, you can save it in a money market account, what you call the money market fund. You can also opt to use SACCOs to save this money. You can start using SACCOs. It's also a good way of earning passive income. You can also opt to invest this money, maybe in treasury bills and bonds, depending with the quantity, depending with the amount, treasury bills and bonds. You can also use this money to start a business. So, all these ways, there are methods and ways of earning money passively. There are methods and ways of earning money passively. So the 20% we've said, you put it aside. It's going to form part of what you call the emergency fund. It's going to form part of what we call the emergency fund. At least you have some amount in case of an emergency. It's say in the middle of the month, you got an emergency. At least you have some money saved up somewhere that can come in handy when you need them. So that is what we call the emergency fund. So 20% of your fund, let it form part of the savings, which also can form part of the emergency fund. I hope that is very, very clear. Then, secondly, we are supposed to go to, once you've done that, once you've taken the 20% of the amount and you've saved it in a money market account, in a SACCO, you've invested it maybe in treasury bills and bonds, or you started a business with that particular amount of money. We also say that these are good ways for you to generate passive income. Passive income meaning the money that you earned without you actively working for that amount of money. So these are mediums and ways in which you can grow as a person. Yeah, once you've taken that 20%, you will see the value in it. And if you take that 20% this month, 20% for the next month, 20% for the subsequent month, you find yourself that you're going to have a very good backup or money that will come in handy and help you even to start a business or grow yourself. Now, the 50%, let us go to the 50%. Now, the 50%, we've said at most 50% should go to your needs. Now, what are needs? Needs are things that you must have to live satisfactorily or comfortably. These are things that you must have to live satisfactorily or comfortably. In other words, these are things that you cannot do without. You need them. These are things that you need. These are things that are essential to keep you running month on month or day on day. They are very, very essential. Now, some examples of this could be examples of needs. Food. You cannot go a day without eating. You cannot go a week, a month without eating. You cannot, without food, you can't work. Without food, you can even die. So food is a one. Food is a need. You cannot do without. The other one is shelter. Shelter. Shelter is simply a home. Okay? Shelter is simply a home. This is a house, maybe you pay rent, it could be a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, bed-sitter, studio apartment, whichever, or even a single room. And later on, we are also going to look how much should you pay for rent, how much should you spend on food, and things like that. The other important need is medical care. Medical care. That could be medical insurance, just something to make sure that you are in perfect health and your body is operating efficiently for you to even work. Without good health, you cannot do nothing. You cannot do anything if you are not in the right mental or physical state. So medical care is also important. So 50% should be able to cover. There could be others, maybe electricity. Those just form part of the needs. Maybe electricity. for the running of your household. At most 50% should be spent on this. 50% of your income. 50% of your income should go here at most. Now, let us look at the other, which you call want. Let us look at wants. So, what is a want? A want is something that you desire. A want is something that you desire. It isn't necessarily something that you need, but you desire. Having it will help you live luxuriously. Helping it will make you feel more. It will help you feel more satisfied. It will help you feel more satisfied. Or in other words, it will improve the quality of your life. You don't necessarily need it, but by you having it, the quality of your life is going to be improved. What are some examples of this? So the examples, these are examples of wants. The things that you don't need, but when you have them, you live a better, satisfied. It improves the quality of your life. So some of the examples of wants are entertainment. Entertainment. We need entertainment. Entertainment is a good example. Now, this is something that entertainment, you must not necessarily be entertained, right? But it comes in handy sometimes when you're bored and you're on a weekend and you've had a very tiresome week and you're having all this burnout and you need to rest. So it comes in handy sometimes. So you might have it. You might go maybe out for clubbing, you might go to watch a movie, you might go to watch, have fun with some friends, drink some beer, one or two. That is all entertainment. You don't need it, but having it can help boost your morale. It can improve the quality of your life. The other good example, electronics. Electronics are things like the TV, the radio, you name them. There's so many. Do you necessarily need a television in your house? Without it, can you not survive? Exactly. You can survive without a television in the house. So it's not a need, it's a want. It's something that just improves or helps you to be more satisfied with yourself. So electronics is part of it. Another possible example could be buying expensive shoes. I mean, shoes is shoes, right? Shoes is shoes, but when you're going for buying a shoe worth 20,000, yet there is shoe for 5,000, or there is shoe for 2,000, and you're going for that 20,000, then it no longer becomes a need, it becomes a want. It no longer becomes a need, it becomes a want. Yeah, plus many more examples. Now, let us look in figure terms. Let us look in values. Let us do now small calculation to see how we are supposed to do this. Now, so this person earns a salary of 20% of disposable income let me just wrap this. Let me just wrap this. Okay, this one is savings, then this one is wants. So 60,000 disposable income now, meaning this person should take 20% of the 60,000, right? That comes to about, quick maths, so 12,000. Let me just write it right. 12,000 of the 60,000. 12,000 of the 60,000 should go to savings, right? 12,000 of the 60,000 should go to savings, and we've said this amount you can take it to the money market fund, or you can start investing it in the circle. Okay, I think these are the two viable ideas, two viable options or alternatives you could go for. If you invest it in money market, 12,000 every month, I'm going to do for you the calculation, how much you are likely to get by the end of the year. Okay, how much you're likely to get by the end of the year. So I'm going to do that one, this segment after this one. Now, number two, this one is savings. This one is the first 20%, yeah? So number two, you're going for needs. Now the needs, 50%. Now, 50% of 60,000, that is 30,000, right? 50% of 60,000 is 30,000. So this 30,000 should encompass the rent, right? That's a need. Should encompass the rent, food for the whole month, right? Things like clothing. Now, one key thing to note is that rent should never consume more than 30%. The maximum you should pay for rent is 30% of your income. So that means if you're earning, say, a salary, the person here is not earning a salary of 60,000. This is just the amount remaining after doing other things, right? If you are, I'm assuming this for a person who is earning a salary of 60,000. If you're earning a salary of 60,000, then your rent should not be more than is 18,000. Your rent should not be more than 18,000. I hope this is very clear. Your rent should not be more than 18,000. If you are on a salary of 60,000, your rent should not be more than 18,000. Now, as you've also seen here, the needs, if say 50% of 60,000 is, sorry, 50% of 60,000 is 30,000, and you pay the rent of 18,000, meaning you are left with 30,000 minus 18,000. Please do not get lost. You're remaining with 12,000. So this 12,000, I think from this our list, 12,000 will mostly go to food. I think this should comfortably take you, you could comfortably use it for food. So 18,000 rent, 12,000 food. This is just an average. I'm assuming you're paying a rent of 18,000, which is quite high still. It needs to be somewhere low, and depending on the salary you are getting or the amount you're getting, but it should not be more than 30% of your income. I hope that is clear. Then this one is for food. But if at all you're paying a lesser rent, you're still going to remit some money to pay for maybe other bills. Now, once, let us look at wants. So once we've said these are things that you desire, you don't necessarily need them to survive, but they're things that improve the quality of your life. So for example, you've said things like entertainment. And you've said that wants should not consume more than 30% of your savings. So 30% of 60,000, it still comes down to 18,000. Now, also, one thing you will notice that this 30% which you're spending on entertainment is not a must you spend 30%. You can go the whole month without spending even a shilling because you didn't go for that entertainment. You didn't buy an extra TV, or rather you've already bought the TV. This amount is just hang. So this amount, if you're a wise person, this amount, if you're not going to use it within that month, please, or say if you want to buy something and you want to buy, for example, a fridge in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, this is where the money can come from. This is where the money can come from. You can save this for the first month, second month, third month, to the time you reach your target, okay? But if at all you don't have like a want, which is very near, take this money, add it to the savings here. Add it to 12,000 if you're not going to need that money for that very month. I hope that is clear. The other thing I was supposed to check was if you save, say, 12,000 on money market fund. This is the way they do. This is per month. I think it's very hard because if you put 12,000, if you start with 12,000, then every month you top up 12,000. The amount will end up with end of the year. I'm going to do it on the calculator, and then I'm going to post it on this video alongside this. But I hope you've gotten something from this. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, comment. If you have any question, please write to me or write it in the comment section. I'll be able to see and answer it. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for watching the video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next.